I was the one when you needed love. All the things you wanted, love. I was the hell that you needed. Oh, I was the one when you needed love. I was the one when you needed love. All the things you wanted, love. I was the hell that you needed. Oh, I was the one when you needed love. Margaret Mead said, "Never doubt that a small group of people can change the world. It's the only thing that ever has." Welcome to BaldPolitiKs, where we take an alternative look at the world of politics and give a voice to the unheard. My name is Peter Kearney. This is the episode from the 23rd of November 2016, where the world focus this fortnight is on Ireland, and in particular the Greencastle Gortin area of West County Tyrone in the north of Ireland. It's a small rural agricultural community, and there is a proposed gold mine going in there over the next couple of years, so that has taken our attention this fortnight. That part of Tyrone is known as, and it has been listed as, an AONB. That's an area of outstanding natural beauty. In that area there is currently a Canadian company prospecting for gold called Dalradian. They are proposing to commence mining there at some stage in the future, possibly within 4 years. Their application is to go in next year to mine in the region. For them it's known as the Curraghinalt Gold Project, and a number of local residents in the area are opposed to this mine for health and safety reasons, for a variety of reasons that we're going to discover on this fortnight show. So I went up to that part of Tyrone to meet with some of the residents to discuss their fears and to find out a little bit more about them. I also made attempts to contact the Dalradian company. They were unsuccessful, although I will persevere. I hope to have them on the show at some stage as well. And the residents told me a little bit about their fears and what it is they're expecting if or when this mine goes ahead. But before we get to that, let's just have a look at some of the significant happenings on this day, the 23rd of November. And in 1867, Irish Republicans known as the Manchester Martyrs are hanged in Manchester in England for assassinating a police officer while freeing 2 Irish Republicans from custody. In 1934, an Anglo-Ethiopian boundary commission in the Ogaden discovers an Italian garrison at Walwal. That leads to the Abyssinia crisis. And in 1981, on this day, the 23rd of November, we have the Iran-Contra affair, where Ronald Reagan signs the top secret national security decision, Directive 17, which gives the CIA the authority to recruit and support the so-called Contra rebels in Nicaragua. Significant political births on this day, the 23rd of November. In 1962, it was the birthday of the Venezuelan president, the current Venezuelan president, that's Nicolas Maduro, who was a former trade union leader and bus driver, I believe, now the president of Venezuela, successor of Hugo Chavez. Okay, so now let's get to this fortnight's topic. As I said, I met with members of the local community in Greencastle in West County Tyrone, where they spoke to me about their fears of the proposed gold mine by the Canadian company Dalradian. The Sperrin Mountains in West County Tyrone is classified as an AONB, that's an area of outstanding natural beauty, and a brief visit to the area confirms how it has this status. It is also believed to be an area of outstanding wealth, and this wealth could come from the gold that is believed to be buried deep beneath the beautiful Sperrin Mountains. Good news, you might think, and it certainly would be good news for the company that gains permission to extract this gold. Gold would bring wealth to the economy and much needed jobs. But it might not be good for everybody, and the benefits that it promises to bring may not be as they appear. And the jobs may not be that much in demand either. Furthermore, it is believed that much of that wealth will not stay local. While it is early days yet, and no permission has even been granted to fully mine the area for gold, the application will not even be lodged until early 2017. There are a number of residents in the Greencastle Gortin area of West Tyrone who are none too happy with news of this mine, nor are they happy with the Canadian company Dalradian, who appear set to profit from this find. These residents outlined their concerns to me at a recent visit to the area.
Basically they want to go in there and make it a feasible gold mining operation at an industrial scale, They're proposing building cyanide, as far as I'm aware, it's the first cyanide processing plant of this scale in the island of Ireland. And the fear here is for us that this very plant and this over 6 million tonnes of tailings that they plan to or they propose to pile on the hill above Greencastle are 1,000 metres from the primary school, 1,200 metres from the village, and as I say, when you look round on a map, there's a lot of population around here. It may be rural, albeit, but there's a couple of centres of populations that will be within a very dangerous close proximity of what they're proposing.
Well, we find realistically this company's come in and they're trying to facilitate more or less the destruction of the total area. They keep promising that this is going to be beneficial and this is going to be good. There's people in this area aren't asking for nothing. They don't need saved. They're kind of coming in as if you're drowning and they're throwing this big ring around you in relation to the gold mine and the benefits of it.
Right.
Whereas you only stand on the beach, you're not actually in the water. You're taking it to the middle of the Sperrins. Sperrins is one of the most wild and beautiful areas in Northern Ireland.
It's peculiar. Up until recently they've been referring to it as an exploration tunnel, and then when they started bringing journalists and people with vested interest down around it, they were proclaiming it to be some sort of mine. But the fact be known that what they have there currently is nothing but a blip compared to what they're proposing. So it is an exploration tunnel, and that's all they've been doing, is exploring it, looking at and trying to follow the veins and how rich the veins are. So that's about the height of what they have there, but at the moment they're trying to basically try and portray this image that this is what it is, this is how bad it gets. But that's the opposite. That's quite the opposite, actually.
Right. So what are Dalradian planning to do?
They plan to full mine here in this area, and then they've also indicated to their shareholders 7 or 8 other deposits throughout Tyrone alone, where they would be targets of interest in basically other mines if they become financially viable. And this is another fear for the people of Greencastle, that if this processing plant gets the go ahead, they're going to be shipping this stuff to this area to be processed and dumped on the hill above the school. So it's their toxic dump that they're talking about up there at the moment. It's the uncertainty of it. We don't know if this thing's going to explode to 10 times, 20 times, 30 times the scale of what they're currently proposing. Because if they're looking planning permission, they're not going to go in worst case scenario. They're going to go in with the smallest feasible footprint they can, and like any of these firms, apply for an extension, apply for an extension, apply for an extension. Where does it finish? We've tried to engage the company on this subject. We've tried to talk to them, right. And as I say, so far their community consultation has been pathetic, to say the least.
What exact concerns do they have, and what are the potential dangers?
It's health and safety. It's the practicality of it. You have the financial aspects of it. Health and safety, you have everything from the water contamination to the dust particulates that will be blowing all around this area and for kilometres. They contain everything from lead, arsenic, mercury. There's just a plethora, a cocktail of stuff that will be blown over the people. And as I say, 1,000 metres from primary school, you don't have to have a doctor to know that's not going to be good. And then you have the financial aspect of it. As I said, I built a home out here 4.5 years ago. I have a mortgage on that. Where does that mortgage go when that property is devalued? Because let's be honest, who's going to want to live in an area with a massive industrial processing plant of this scale and of this nature? So you have all those aspects of it, and then it's even down to the day-to-day living. How is people going to get about when you have just a fleet of lorries on your road day in, day out, rattling past the schools and everything else? So I think there's a lot of issues here that concerns people, from health right down to the day-to-day practicalities of living in the area.
Cyanide is the main worry that the community has, because like all over the world, Ban Marie and all, and Romania, there has been environmental disasters where cyanide has been used. We're just wondering, is that something that could happen here? Again, this area is high in radon gas, which Detty's own information will give you, and that's a byproduct of uranium-based rock. And these guys are going to take this rock to the surface, crush it into the consistency of flour, and put it on the side of one of the highest hills and one of the highest mountain ranges in West Tyrone. And the prevailing ones could take that 60 kilometres, it could take it 70 kilometres. Like we get in this area, and you might not believe this, but we get the red sand, Sahara. and the time of Chernobyl, it was the far side of the Springs that had the biggest fallout in relation to, you know, the pollution. You know, it's only up to lately that there actually been in some areas have been able to sell livestock from them areas because the radiation was that high. And you're thinking to yourself, it can come from the Sahara, it can come from Chernobyl. What's it going to be like 800 metres down the road?
I planned on creating a future here. My parents have lived here for generations, and I wanted to finish my nursing and build a house here and live here and raise children. But if this mine proposal goes ahead for a processing plant, there's no chance that I'll be staying here, because I wouldn't want to raise a family in a toxic area.
First 10 to 12 years, if there is pollution in that, you'll see an influx of growths and cancers in small mammals and animals. The reason being that they're taking it direct from the streams locally, they're eating the grass locally, and then maybe 20, 25 years after the animals in this area go through the food chain, then it builds up in the human population, and you see an influx on cancers and different diseases through this. Like, you have to remember that there's none of these processing plants about, so anything that we're going to learn, unfortunately we're the guinea pigs.
Now, they might argue that it's going to bring a lot of prosperity to the area, bring jobs, and gold itself is going to be valuable, bring a lot of money into the local economy, is what they might say.
Very viable, very good argument they have, but at the same time too, why can't we invest in tourism? Bring jobs in on the back of tourism. There's bound to be other, you know, projects out there that we could look at. When they talk about bringing into the economy, there is no tax or levy on gold or silver ore in the United Kingdom, so there will be none of this profit going to the treasury of Stormont or whatever. You know, most of this stuff is going to the Canadian company and their shareholders. So when they originally came out, they proposed something like 230 jobs. Within 4 months that jumped to 400 jobs, and it's only now at the recent consultation they're saying 650 jobs. And they always put the little disclaimer in that this is based on no relevant facts in that. It's a whitewash.
Do you think their job claims are exaggerated?
Very much exaggerated, and when we spoke at their first consultation, we pushed them on a couple of the jobs. A lot of those jobs are not going to go to locals for the very reason is they're going to fly in already trained and skilled people. They're a company that's here to maximise their profit margin. They're not going to spend, you know, a year, 6 months to a year training some guy up when they can get somebody to come in and hit the ground running, because it's a business. They need to be moving forward. They put this false image across that they're concerned about the community. They're not concerned about the community, they're concerned about their shareholders and their profit margin.
They're promising jobs to locals. I asked this in relation to all the jobs people's been saying, well, Dalradian, I have a job with them, I'm getting a job with them, and their own directors turned around and says that's not the case, because these guys can promise whatever they want, but they're not speaking on our behalfs, because if there's a job, the job is open to everyone. You know, I asked him about the way the jobs is local, and he says of course they're local. He says Ulster's local. You know, he says get this thing that Greencastle and Gortion's local out of your head. You know, he says it's immediate, but it's not local. These guys, it takes them 5 years to qualify. He says they change their whole way, their mindset in relation to the local area and work and everything else. I says, if you leave in 20 years time, where do these guys go? I says, they won't be going to Belfast to mine because there's no one in it. I says, these guys now that they're saying, well, it's a job for locals, are they going to have to get on a plane and go to South Africa, South America, you know, Eastern Europe, to use the trades that they have now been trained in? Because like, it's not as if you're going to get another job 20 miles down the road. You're not a brickie, you're not a joiner, you know.
Well, I'm an employer myself. I was very busy for a couple of years. I was working at Renewable Energies, and I found that whenever we were at the peak of our work, we needed a fair few men. We put it up on Facebook. We needed joiners, we needed builders, we needed electricians, and we needed plumbers, plus any handyman. And we put it up on Facebook, and absolutely no return for work feed in this area. You would have to go miles away to see if you could get anybody. And it left me in the position that I had to turn down the rest of the work, so we just come to a stand because we couldn't get, people, and we were paying good money, like we just couldn't get people to work for us from this area. It's absolutely mind blowing to think of what they think that we don't have work here. We do have all the work we want. Like,
there's lots of work here. There is loads, as Daddy probably already said. He had a business running here and he could get nobody to work for him.
Right.
So I believe there is lots of work here. See, the problem that I see with it and that I've seen on Facebook is people saying, sure, we have to travel to Belfast to get work. Do you know, I've seen so many opportunities. I work in the care industry at the minute and I've seen so many companies looking for people to work for them.
You must have put these concerns to the company at some stage, did you?
I've been at any consultations that they have made available to us. They said that they're doing house visits and they're giving leaflets and all. Generally, the rule of thumb is they'll run up, somebody will jump out of the jeep, stick a leaflet through the door and drive down the lane as fast as they can. They say that they're interacting with the local community. Well, that's not true. I went to the first 2 consultations and they told us then that there would be the feasibility study and the environmental impact statement available at the next consultation. We went to the last 2 consultations last week and there was none of it. They said they'd be ready in a fortnight. I said, would you not have been better hold back for a fortnight in relation to giving the people the full information? It'll be ready in a fortnight, and that's the answer we got.
It's nearly as if they don't take the thing seriously. People ask them questions and they just palm them off. They'll tell you they'll get back to you, they don't get back to you. They'll ask you for your details. Best you'll get is a nice glossy brochure stuck through your door, bestowing the virtues of how great this project's going to be, with no facts or substance in it, or no detail. They never seem to have anything to back up the claims that they're making.
Right. Now, have you guys carried out any studies of your own, or do you know of any in terms of an environmental impact to the area, of how damaging it could be?
I think for just ourselves as locals, a lot of people have been doing research and studies and peer-reviewed papers and that are in the public domain. We've looked at this sort of stuff and just to see, a lot of it's very geography and science based and very heavy in that respect, so you just sort of try and skim through that, and it's a very fast learning curve.
Right.
And as I say, a lot of it doesn't paint a very pretty picture, to be honest.
Our own political representatives, they're absolutely silent. You know, it speaks volumes. The people of this community has voted in won't even answer the phone. Some of the people won't even return their calls.
What effect has it had on local communities? Are they divided or supportive of the mine? Has it or will it change them in any way?
And I feel like it's sort of torn the community apart, which is sad, but then brought a lot of us together as well. Like, I really feel part of the community now.
Right.
So I'm proud of that.
At the beginning, they told us that the majority of the people in this area were on side. We've found through talking to people and people educating themselves and everything else that the majority aren't. But they're country people, they're quiet people, good community people, and they're not raising noise, but a lot of these people aren't in support. Outside the community, they'll tell you that the community is divided. I think this community is getting stronger, you know.
Stronger against the mine.
Stronger against the mine and stronger against the lies. You know, at the start there was people running about and saying this is going to be good and we can get jobs and all this here. You used to accept that, you used to, oh that's brilliant. Now somebody says that to you, turn around and say, how? You know, where are the jobs? Give me a detail. What job can I get? 9 times out of 10 these people can't answer you. You know. And if nothing else, was planting the seed in their head that, hey, right enough, you know, I can't answer it, and I'm the one that's for it. So they're saying to themselves, if there's that many people coming out against this, am I on the wrong side? You know.
Would you say the majority of the people in the area are against this going ahead?
The majority, if they're not involved in working for Dalradian, if they're not involved in land deals with Dalradian, or their family's not involved with Dalradian, yes. And the disappointing thing is, if it does go ahead, I can see it actually decimating this area. Because if people buys into this story, Patrick Anderson, their CEO, has said that this is going to be a series of mine camps.
And what happened at the public consultations that were held? Why was there such a heavy police presence?
In relation to even to last week, their own consultations, brought in the police. They said they didn't, but the police wouldn't have been there other than they were requested. The other consultations, there was never an issue. There's never been a report to the police. There's never been, the police called or anything in relation to that. And for 13 carload of police, after all this area went through the time of the Troubles in relation to ground forces and everything else, you're trying to bring it back to the bad old days. It's not the community that's doing that, it's this company. And the way we're looking at it, my God, we were really, really glad to get away from that. And our kids and our young people are now actually witnessing what's going on. That's so disappointing. They owe the police over 400,000. They're refusing to pay their bill. Yet whenever they call, they're happy enough to come and facilitate stopping young people and all on the roads. They're happy enough to come and in a show of strength, more or less, as hired security for this company. The people at Greencastle should have been really proud of themselves in relation to what way last Saturday went, because it was wives, aunts, uncles, brothers, husbands, fathers and the kids. That's who was there. It wasn't the crowd of thugs that the Dalradian were putting out was going to attend. And the first people down the road was a mother and her 2 kids. And the justification to have the police present for that.
And is this just confined to the Tyrone area? Is they've just discovered gold in this area now?
Well, it's not just in Tyrone. There is other deposits up around Derry, and there's other companies looking in and around Armagh, Louth, and there's also another company in Donegal up around the Inishowen Peninsula and places like that. As far as we're aware, they're also interested in Sligo and Galway to follow this Dalradian fault, which is the gold. This seems to be where the gold's concentrated. So this is something that's going to morph into an all Ireland problem.
So it seems from those locations you've given, it's like there's a line across the northern half of the island.
Yeah.
Everything above that
Is
from Sligo, Galway, Tyrone, Derry.
It's free game,
Monaghan,
basically.
okay.
Yeah. Well, they see it as free game.
Yeah.
I think as people become more and more aware of what it is they're proposing and the toxicness of the processes they're proposing, I think you'll find more and more people will stand up and say, no, hold on here.
Prior and during the making of this short piece, the company Dalradian were contacted, but it did not receive a response from them. I will persevere and hope to get an interview with Dalradian about this particular matter. So thanks very much to the residents in the west of County Tyrone in the Greencastle area for telling me all about that. As I said, I will persevere and hopefully have Dalradian on the show at some stage, or at least a comment from them. If you want to know more about them and their campaign, you can find them on Facebook or on Twitter. They go under the title of Save Our Sperrins, and you can find all the information you need there. That's at Save Our Sperrins. If you want to participate in the show or give some feedback, then you can get me on these details right here. Also, you can just put in BaldPolitiKs with a K in politics on Facebook and Twitter, and you can find me right there. That's BaldPolitiKs. Okay, so that's it from me, Peter Carney. Until a fortnight's time, take care.